What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about Faraday Future. I want to go over some of the current data points, what's been coming out associated to the company itself, and go over everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that said, let's get right to it. So starting off, this stock is extremely stubborn. It doesn't want to die. So I guess that's kind of a positive thing, because my last video I did say that if it was going to be below 10 cents for 10 consecutive trading days, then it was going to be instantly knocked off the NASDAQ. And it made it up until day 8. And then on the 9th, Faraday puts out some pretty good news. And I do have to admit, it is good news. Although you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt. So I'm going to break that down on what I mean by that. But on Friday, it did go down 3.61%. So it is back under the 10-cent mark. And as you can kind of see, came very, very close to that 52-week low of 7.9 cents. And as a result of what's been developing over this weekend, no doubtably, there is going to be another 52-week and all-time low for Faraday. And obviously that's not counting reverse stock splits and whatever else. A lot of volume, so 24.6 million shares were traded on Friday. 25.7 is the average. So when it comes down to Faraday, they haven't actually put out any recent SEC filings other than this April 2nd one, which I've already covered in a previous video. But this news that did come out on April the 9th, it kind of gives hope. And so ultimately it says Faraday Future continues progress in the Middle East market with establishment of a Middle East sales entity, which I think that news is crap in among itself. So I think it's just later in the actual PR, that is the good substantial news that drove it higher today, in combination with this right here. So as I've signaled, there still is a ton of unexercised warrants. So that's all very toxic, and these do benefit from lower prices. So I feel, again, as I've signaled, whoever is the holders of these warrants have been at the same time shorting Faraday because they stand to benefit. They benefit from its downtrend, then that way they can just exercise its warrants and then dump them on the open market. So it's a very big win-win for whoever holds these warrants. And it's across the board, right? It's not necessarily just Faraday. There's a lot of companies that have these toxic convertible warrants. And again, they are very, very damaging. So in my opinion, I feel like this is one of the attributing factors why Faraday was never really going to amount to anything because of this. But getting back into it, not with the negativity, as you can kind of see with this news, like I said, not really crazy start, but it is this right here that gives a lot of hope. Moreover, the company continues to engage with potential partners in the Middle East to explore opportunities, including strategic financing, business development, and sales and marketing. Especially strategic financing, because I have stated in the past that Faraday will need money probably by the end of this current quarter, because they are bleeding through a lot of money, and rightfully so. As I've said, like them just doing the status quo from their last earnings, which on a side note is very delayed, but their last one that was submitted, it does not look good for Faraday. And this is why I've been bearish overall. Just things haven't really turned out, and it does stem down to management. Management dropped the ball, but this in reality does give a lot of hope to investors. So no doubtably, this is that one sentence that actually did cause it to go higher. The only negative and kind of asterisk that I want to add to this is Fisker recently did say this, and they've been saying this for the last, I think, 3 months, 4 months, possibly even longer. So technically, yeah, anyone can state that they're looking for potential partners to include for strategic financing and opportunities and mergers or whatever else. Doesn't mean they're going to get it. Middle East right now, I think they're kind of capped out for EVs, and Faraday hasn't really developed that much that like they're desirable, because right now, just looking here, as I brought up in the last video or a couple of videos, 3.41 million is the market cap. So yeah, there could be some intrinsic value to Faraday, but for an entity that might be interested in Faraday, rather than just pumping money into this company, just let Faraday go belly up and bankrupt, and then you could buy it for 10 cents on the dollar, basically everything for maybe $100,000. So let me know your thoughts on that in the comments below. Do you believe in this statement right here? Do you think that they're actually engaging with potential partners, or do you think it's just fluff? just to entice investors to get in. Because one thing that I have really stated in the past is Faraday is very good at putting out fluff PR, but they've been very silent over this last little bit because there's not really much to talk on, as you can kind of see from the recent news. So no point really talking about options, just dollar values, absolutely pennies. And of the options that are being purchased, they're bearish. But with 8 cents, I don't know why anyone is even doing that. Big money is just avoiding Faraday, as you can kind of see right here, both on the secondary market and as well as the dark pool. So this is Lucid right here. So this is Faraday. So institutions are just not even looking at Faraday, even on the dark pool. Dark pool is linked to shorting. So I'll give you a quick overview of what they are doing right now. But currently 28.4% of the free float is being shorted. 10.82 million shares overall are being shorted. Cost of borrow average is 15.44%. And just to give you a quick overview of what they did on Friday, it looks like shorts returned about 1 million shares, which no doubtably because of the fear that's kind of developing over this weekend between Israel and Iraq, then essentially you could see them double down, because just looking right here through Interactive Broker short availability, there's roughly about 750,000 shares available to be shorted. So probably those will be utilized ASAP. My own opinion, of course. Right here, if you're looking at trading Faraday with it at 8 cents, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So 8.5 cents is going to be that next strong resistance point, so the target for Faraday. But like I kind of have signaled, unless Faraday puts out some substantial pieces of news, there's no reason for Faraday to go up. But if it does just randomly go up, then you can kind of attribute that to warrants being exercised. So definitely it's more concerning every time I see Faraday actually going up based off of no news in the past. But some support points if you are again looking at trading it: 7.7 cents, 7.2, and then 6.3. But no doubtably, I think this week is going to be more of a bloodbath across the board. And so Faraday might kind of stick below that 10-cent mark once again throughout the whole week, but we'll just have to wait and see. Like I said, the clock has started to tick once again, or kind of restart. So it's been 3 consecutive trading days below 10 cents. So once it does hit that 10 or over 10, then this is where Faraday does get kicked off the NASDAQ. So we'll wait and see. This is now the second time they've had a saving grace. So this one was based off of no news whatsoever. So this clearly was warrants. Then it had 8 consecutive trading days. Then they put out that news on the 9th just to save it. So Faraday was very strategic when it comes down to that, but we'll just have to wait and see what does happen this time around. So on the actual chart, it's just lower percentile of the Bollinger Band. Looking at stochastic, very oversold. You do see a bearish deviation, and looking at momentum, number of retail investors have been getting out. So all in all, like I've said in the past, not to be overly bearish, I would definitely think twice about investing in Faraday. But then again, I am not a financial advisor, so you guys do your own due diligence. Faraday is a whole different level of risk, especially for anything, because Faraday has risks of getting A, delisted, and then just B, liquidity. So they are literally following in Fisker's footsteps. Just Fisker seems to be a lot more volatile and has a lot of inventory, whereas like Faraday has jack all. So let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. One final thing, make sure you guys definitely take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it, and you get 7 fractional shares of the Mag 7. $35 total value, so that's a pretty good return on investment for just throwing $100 at the account. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.